Show me the science of gentle parenting. There is no clear evidence that this works. That's usually the comments that I get on my TikToks. If you don't follow me, Impact Club on TikTok, because all I do is gentle parenting. That usually is from people who still want to defend corporal punishment and all sorts of abusive practices that people have been doing years and years. And I have something to say. There is evidence and there is science behind gentle parenting. Who am I? My name is Marcela Collier. I'm a certified parenting coach, the owner of Impact Club Parenting Education online platform. And yes, I read many books, and I just finished reading a book based on neuroscience of behaviors. The name of the book is Beyond Behaviors. It's written by a developmental psychologist. She has a PhD on that. Her name is Mona de la Hook. We have 3 neural pathways. So what are neural pathways in simple terms? The way that our brain perceives the environment. So your brain either perceives it as threatening or safe. That's it. You want your children to learn good behavior. You want your children to learn that hitting is not okay, that they should be polite, they should take turns or relate better to peers, to not fight with siblings. You want your children to learn all that. However, the brain's main job is not to learn. Shocker. The brain's main job is to survive. If the brain feels threatened, all it cares about is surviving. So you either fight, flight, or freeze. Those are your survival stress responses that ensure that you're still here alive. If the brain doesn't feel threatened, then it gets busy in other things such as learning. You know that you want your children to learn good behavior, so the brain needs to feel safe to learn good behavior, to relate to others. The brain needs to feel safe to want to relate to others, and the brain needs to feel safe to explore. If the brain doesn't feel safe, then it feels threatened and it doesn't care about relating to others, engaging, and learning. Doesn't care about any of that. According to neuroscience, we have 3 pathways, neural pathways, and it determines how safe or threatened our brain feels. Pathway number 1, the book calls it the red pathway, is the sympathetic pathway. So in the sympathetic pathway, the brain doesn't feel safe. The brain feels threatened. You're either fighting or you're fleeing. So I saw a little clip of Super Nanny. The kid was either safe or threatened, and I didn't see her brain felt safe. She felt threatened the whole time. In the beginning, she was fleeing from timeout. That's threatened, red pathway, sympathetic pathway. She was fleeing from timeout and then fighting Super Nanny and the parents when they tried to drag her back to timeout. Fighting and fleeing. She was threatened. She wasn't learning. She wasn't relating to others. She was trying to survive. That's what happens when you care more about the punishment than about your child's emotional state. So 30 minutes later, Super Nanny was like, yes, she's quiet, it's super quiet, the tantrum is over, we did it, we stopped the behavior. They stopped the behavior, but they didn't calm the child down, even if it was quiet. Why? Because after 30 minutes, this child went from red to blue. What is the blue pathway? It's called dorsal vagal pathway. Children don't feel safe, they feel threatened in this pathway, but they're not fighting or fleeing, they are withdrawn. So this child was withdrawn. She wasn't feeling safe, she was still threatened, but she gave up fleeing and fighting, and she withdrew. She gave up. What happened? How do you know she was in blue? Because she wasn't engaging. She wanted to be by herself, fleeing from being with parents and Super Nanny. It's different when a child says, Mommy, I need time for myself. That's different. They're still engaging with you. And another thing is that she was literally hiding from them. They stopped the behavior, but they didn't calm the child down. So wherever they told her, in that state, she still was not learning, because again, the brain's main job is not to learn, but to survive. If the brain feels safe, then it learns, then it relates, then it explores. Gentle parenting, when children are in red, our techniques don't take children from red to blue. Our techniques take children from red to green, the green pathway. The third neural pathway is called the central vagal pathway. And in this pathway, children feel safe. And once the brain feels safe, it's ready to learn, it's ready to relate, meaning to communicate with you with words and use logic, and it's ready to follow through, meaning to listen, to follow instructions. So that's why gentle parenting, even though it may take a little more effort from the parent to go down to eye level and talk to the child, it doesn't really take as long as, for example, Super Nanny. It took them 30 minutes to stop a tantrum, not even to calm down the child, but to stop the tantrum. With gentle parenting, it would have been easier saying, I see that you're so frustrated, you're so angry. I really want to help you. Mommy's gonna go to this room and I'm going to wait there for you. What was the child going to do? The child was going to stop fighting and fleeing and would have maybe wandered around 2 or 3 minutes and then go in the room, because the child doesn't feel safe if they're not connected and relating with a safe adult. The child would have been in the room willingly and way faster than 30 minutes. That's the beauty of gentle parenting, and that's the beauty that most people don't see. If you try to do gentle parenting, if you want to do gentle parenting, this is worth it. I say it because I've been doing it for over 12 years with my kids in foster care who came from trauma, who were used to traditional abusive methods, and I've seen their progress, I've seen their success, and I've seen how easier it is to relate to them once their brain feels safe. Once they're not fleeing or fighting, once they're safe, it is way easier to set limits, to talk about discipline, to talk about positive behavior. Is way easier to teach them things. How do I do this discipline? If my child is all over the place, if he's very upset, again, you have to make sure your child calms down. I use breathing exercises with my kids. By the way, I have a free downloadable. It's called Breathing Exercises for Kids. It comes with visuals that they can follow. They don't have to read them. It has, little graphics that they can follow, and it has helped my twins so much. You can get it free. I'm going to leave a link in the description. But that's the first thing. Once they are calmed down, then you discipline. And if you're wondering, how do I discipline doing gentle parenting? I created a full video. It is this one right here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Follow me on all social media platforms, especially TikTok, Instagram at Impact Club. And remember, it only takes understanding to transform your parenting.